looks yummy.
Every minute, every second. It's gotta be special. I don't care who you are, where you're from,
Yeah.
whether you're
It's one of the reasons why
Democrat,
Italian night, Thursday night, is my favorite night. Well, I'd say that about every night, but
when you're here.
this makes it that much better. We're waiting for the other pizza. I'm going to start cutting this one up. What is going on, guys? Okay, so I was watching Tom and Lori's RV Live. We've done pizzas with them, hanging out. Lori went after pizza dough. She did a fantastic job. She did exactly what she should do. But I thought, you know what, let's make a video real quick. So Lori, this one's for you. We're going to show you how I do it, and maybe it'll help. She had fun with it, and that's the important part. So have fun with it. I'm going to hand the camera over to Miss Karen, and she's going to start us off. So, you ready?
Start us off.
Okay, so the first thing that we've got warm water. This is about 105 degrees-ish. Don't get too much over 110 degrees. I just go by feel. I feel it. It's okay. We're going to put in a little bit of sugar, and then about 1 teaspoon of sugar, and the sugar is for the yeast. We're going to drop in 1 teaspoon. It's kind of heaping. It doesn't really need to be. All right, but we're going to drop that in there. All right, and we're just going to kind of mix that up. So that yeast, we're gonna watch the yeast activate, and this is gonna take about 10 minutes. So we will come back in about 10 minutes. I'll show you what the yeast has done. As long as it's done everything it's supposed to do, we can go on with the rest of the bread dough. So actually pizza dough, because that's what we're making tonight. While we wait, we'll catch a sunset. Take that 10 minutes. Make sure that your yeast comes alive. One thing I didn't mention is do not add salt. Do not add salt. I know a lot of recipes, they say just put your yeast in, your salt in. Do not add salt. Salt kills yeast. Unlike us, yeast doesn't like salt. But we are going to add salt into the recipe here in just a minute. We're still waiting for the yeast to come alive. We're going to go in there in just a second and check it out. So hang on, guys. Check this out. Check this out, guys. Look at that. All right, see that? See that foam up there? Oh my gosh, that is looking awesome. That's what you want. You want your yeast alive. If it doesn't foam up like this, the water may have been too hot. Your yeast may be dead. So don't do that. Definitely make sure that your yeast is alive and cooking. Feed it some sugar. Let you know. So we're going to add some flour. We're going to do 2 cups of flour. We're going to make sure we get this right. This is packed. See that? When I got the flour out, I packed it against the side here. Make sure that your flour is packed. We're gonna just kind of lay it not in the middle. Don't set it in the middle. Put it around the outside edge. So here, watch this. I'm gonna scoop my flour. Oh, come on, get out of there. And we're gonna press it against the side so we get a nice compressed flour. And we're going to lay it right around the outside, just like so. Okay, now we've got all this goodness in the middle, right? All right, but we've got something to do here. we need to do about a teaspoon of salt. I do it in my hand, you do it however you want. I've got a teaspoon measure here. Let's just do it. I've been doing this a while. So that's about a teaspoon of salt. Should we check it? Let's check it real quick. We got our teaspoon, and we're gonna pour all that in, and that's about a teaspoon of salt. All right, and we're gonna put it around, not in the middle. Remember, yeast doesn't like salt. All right, we're gonna put that right around the edge. We also are gonna do some olive oil. This is inexpensive olive oil. This is your, I don't know where we got that. Look at that, $2.99. There's nothing special about this. Now I could do it in my hand, probably not. It'll be a little messy that way. We're just gonna give it about a teaspoon. Again, we're gonna go around the outside edge, and we're done. That's all we're gonna add to it. Now we're gonna start mixing it. And I'm going to start from the middle and work my way out. You can use a fork. I've got a whisk here doing it. All right, but we're going to get our hands here messy in just a second. And I'm going to give you another tip here as we mix this around, as we get all this goodness mixed in together. It starts getting a little tough. And so that's where I'm gonna get my hands involved. All right, don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. Speaking of which, make sure you wash your hands before you start this process. All right. Now this dough is gonna make about enough for 2 pizzas. I know it doesn't look like it at this point, but I'm just kind of pulling it off the sides, mixing it together, getting all that mixed up, and we're just gonna keep working it off the sides, okay? And look at that, I'm getting dough on my hands, but I'm going to show you how to get rid of that in just a second. But we basically want to keep working this around the bowl, get up all of that flour, that little bit of salt. You definitely want the salt in there. You want that flavor. People like salt. Yeast doesn't like salt, but we like salt. So we're gonna do that. And I'm just kind of scraping it off the sides, and we're not gonna pull this out until we've got all of that picked up. It looks a little dry, but I'm not gonna add any water to it just yet because I know that's probably not going to last long. You remember working with silly putty when you were a kid? It's a lot the same way, except Mom isn't going to get mad at you unless you put it in the carpet. Don't put it in the carpet. And it's time to clean our hands, and we need to prep our work surface here just a little bit. So I'm going to get just a little bit, about a 1/4 cup. I don't need a lot. I just need about a 1/4 cup of flour, just using regular flour, nothing exciting here. But we want to clean our hands off. Here's a tip: takes a little bit of that flour, rub it on your hands, and just rub that right off. And you know what? All of those little bits, all those little pieces, we're gonna scoop up, and we're gonna make it part of our dough, and we're gonna start working that dough. All right, get our hands a little bit cleaner here. When you put that flour on there, it helps clean the hands off, get all that goodness that's still stuck to your hands. And now the work comes out for working the dough. And I'm really, I'm kind of leaving I'm kind of leaving that flour over there, that little 1/4 cup of flour that I threw out. I don't really want that. It's actually feeling kind of dry, but we're gonna keep working the dough and see if we can get all these little bits up. to where we have and don't be afraid to work your dough. You know, I think that was my biggest thing, was I was worried about overworking the dough. And you're going to feel the wetness, the moisture, you're going to feel that dough, and it's going to start getting a little tacky on you. That's okay. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for that dough to be tacky. Right now it's dry. I have, the dough is too dry, all right? But we're not going to add water to it. We're going to keep working that dough. And you can see all the little bits are kind of getting worked back into that dough. I can feel the dough starting to get tacky and soft, and that's what we're shooting for. I've done this a number of times. You know, one of the reasons why we did this is because you couldn't get good pizza dough out of a box, out of a package, out of the little frozen Pillsbury, no offense to Pillsbury, but it's just not the same, all right? And you can tell I'm not working very hard, but I'm probably working about, no, probably less than 5 minutes. But we're just gonna let that get tacky, and now you can see it's starting to, it's not sticky, but it's starting to get tacky. And that's what we're looking for. It's getting soft. I'm just turning it over into itself, pushing it down with the palm of my hand. Ooh, and I've got a little bit of dough still on my fingers. Let's get that off. We don't want to waste any dough. But just keep working it, and you'll feel it. You'll feel it start to get a little tacky. In fact, look at that. A little tacky, but not sticky. It's not sticking to my hands. All right? And as soon as that's nice and soft, we're going to put that back into our bowl, and I'll show you what's next here. But that's it. The live, I mean, that's, you're seeing it right here. That's as much as I'm going to work that. How many minutes? Does it say on the camera there? Oh, not sure. About
Not that I can read without glasses.
Yeah, 4 minutes.
You're 10 minutes in.
Oh, is it 10 minutes? Okay, maybe it took a little bit longer. All right.
Part of that was the mixing and the flour and all that too. So.
Right. But there it is. I'm not adding any more. I'm not adding any more flour to it. I'm not adding any more water to it. All right. If it is, if you need flour, add it sparingly. You don't need a lot. If you add more water to it, you just have to work it until you come up basically with this little bad boy right here. So we're going to put this back in the bowl, but before we do that, we're going to put just a little bit of olive oil. Spread that around the bowl. All right. We're going to take this, set it right in there. Okay, and we're going to go just a little bit, just enough. We want to coat that. The reason we're coating that is we don't want this to dry out, because it needs to sit and rise for about 30 minutes. So we're going to just give a nice coat of oil on it. Don't worry if you put too much. It's not going to magically absorb it or anything like that. You're not going to hurt anything. And there we go. So the next thing I need to do is I need to get some plastic wrap.
The struggles.
The struggles. Okay, here we go. We got plastic wrap. We are going for it. We're just going to wrap that down there just like that. If you don't have plastic wrap, no problem. Just make sure that you try to keep that as dry as possible. And moist. We're going to come back to this in about 30 minutes. So in our case, we could set it in the convection oven and set it for 100. But basically, you don't want any more than 100 degrees. You don't want to cook the dough. You just want to rise it. And it's going to take about 30 minutes. That dough is going to rise to about twice the size, and that's what we're shooting for. Go ahead and get a shot of that. And there you go. All right, guys, we'll see you in about 30 minutes. See you later. Maybe time for a glass of wine. Get a glass of wine. Relax. And we'll see you in 30 minutes. Okay, so what you're waiting for is you're waiting for that dough to about double in size. One of the things I didn't show you is I covered it up. So we're going to go ahead and uncover it here real quick. And there you go. Reason we cover it is yeast likes to party in the dark. Alright, so we gave it some darkness. I'm going to pull off that plastic wrap, throw that away. Now you remember that 1/4 cup of flour that we left on the table right here? We're just going to kind of spread that around here. Don't need all of it, just want to flour our work surface. Dump that right on out. This is going to make about 2 pizza doughs, 2 12-inch pizzas. So we're just going to roll it up and cut it right about in the middle. Okay, and now you have 2 pizza dough balls. Take a little bit of that flour, put it on there. Now you can either do oil. I do a little bit of cornmeal sometimes, but we're going to put that on there and start punching it down. And no, I can't throw pizza dough. If you can, terrific. You are awesome. But I may get out my handy dandy rolling pin. Don't worry about it being too thin. It is going, we're going to let this rise again before we actually use it. Okay. I'm going to take a little bit of olive oil, put that on there, wipe that all around. Now what the olive oil is going to do is when you put your pizza sauce on, it's also going to keep that, it's going to keep the dough from drying out. But when you put your pizza sauce on, it's going to keep it from soaking into your crust and making your crust soggy. So put that olive oil on there. Grab a piece of plastic wrap and we're going to wrap this. And then we're going to set this one aside. Oh boy, we're running out of plastic wrap.
Get the new one out.
All right. Now I'm going to put this someplace warm. I'm going to grab my other pan. I'll be right back. Okay, our next pizza is going to be a deep dish, and we're going to do it right in the cast iron skillet. And first thing I need is a little bit of oil. I've been using extra virgin olive oil. If you don't have olive oil, go ahead and use your vegetable oil. It's okay. So you don't have to have olive oil. Put a good amount in there. That's probably 3 or 4 tablespoons. You want to get the whole thing. Take your dough. Set that in there. And this one we're going to punch out. Don't worry about if you get some oil on your fingers, it's all right. I try not to, because it makes it easier for grabbing the dough and pushing it out. And I'm not sure what size this skillet is, maybe 10-inch, somewhere in that neighborhood. All right. And again, we're going to cover that up. And we just ran out of plastic wrap. Hopefully we can make it last. Okay. And we're going to put this someplace warm. And now we're going to wait another 30 minutes. It's going to be ready to go. At this point, you could start putting toppings on it. I like to let it rise again and then put the toppings on. So we're going to let it rise again. We'll see you in about 30 minutes. Bye, guys. All right, they are out and they are ready. So we're going to do the deep dish first. We're doing a barbecue chicken deep dish. Check those out. Those look awesome or what? All right. There's a little bit more oil on top. We want that for the bottom, but we don't really want it for the top. So that's why I said don't worry about if you get a little too much oil on there. It'll be all right. We're just going to pat that down a little bit, soak up some of that vegetable oil that's on top of that, and that will work great.
Please don't fear me, because I know what I want. Please deliver me that soft part of your soul that makes you freeze time, staring in at yourself. It's time to step outside onto the path you once made. Let me rip you so I can find all your tears. I can mend you so you can function again. I was where you are in oblivion. I know you feel alone. You've got to ask yourself where you are now. It's where you are now. I can fix you, but only at a price. I'm coming for you, just not to fall in love. I can fix you, but only at a price. I'm coming for you, just don't you fall in love. Little knows that you've got so far to walk, out to dream that you've got to find your.
All right, there we go. This one's going into the oven next. We'll give you a shot. We're gonna wrap this video up and get ready to eat here. I'm so glad that you guys came by. I hope you like Dave's dough recipe. It's simple, it's easy, and generally can be made with whatever you've got on hand. I'm hungry because we started doing this late. So it's actually about getting close to 8 o'clock, and it's time to go. Thanks for watching, and if you're not a subscriber, you enjoyed the video, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, join us. We have our lives every Sunday. Always look forward to that, and we've got that just a few days away. So from Karen and I, are you going to say bye? Say bye. Bye. Good night, guys. See you later.
Got to find yourself. Please don't fear me, because I know what I want. Please deliver